So in this video we're going to create a ranked auction with a manual variable. So in a ranked auction we'll invite suppliers to bid on a piece of business within an auction itself, and the suppliers will see where they rank during that event, and if they're ranking 2, 3, 4 or however many suppliers are involved, they know they have to bid further in order to rank number one. So they won't see what the other suppliers have bid, but they will see where they rank. And a manual variable differs to a measured variable. Now, a measured variable is something that the supplier will provide, something like lead time or payment terms, and a manual variable is something that the client itself will supply. So a client will score suppliers perhaps on reputation, on ease of business or something like that, and that's something the client will score. So that's the difference between a manual variable and a measured variable. So what we're going to do is we're going to create an event, and we're going to create a new event. So it's going to be a ranked auction. It's going to be event number 16. I'm not going to change the name, and I'm going to leave the start time to the 31st at 9 PM. Currency code is GBP, and I'm going to send automatic email reminders to suppliers when I'm still waiting for them to feed back, and that will automatically route a email to the supplier to say, hey, we haven't had any input from you. And then the plan type I'm going to leave as reverse, which means that the lowest price will rank number one. And auto time extension of 5 minutes, duration of 30 minutes, so the auction will last 30 minutes. If anyone bids in the final 5 minutes, the auction event will extend by a further 5 minutes. And a minimum bid increment of 1%, which means that each supplier needs to bid 1% or more than the next lowest price in order for the bid to be accepted. And will allow suppliers to bid on individual lots. And then I'm going to save and continue. I'm not going to have a questionnaire, so I'm going to take the questionnaire out and save and continue. And I'm going to add a lot 1, and I'm going to say 100, and I'm going to say per square metre, and I'm going to put £20 per square metre as the current price. Qualification price £20. So current price £20 per square metre is what I'm paying now. If you don't have a current price, then enter an estimate. And the qualification price is the price that the supplier needs to get to in order to compete. So if they can only get to £24, they won't be able to compete for this bit of business. So make sure you are in line with the market here. And I'm not going to add a document to support this lot. You can add a specification if you need to here, but I'm not going to do that for the sake of this video. I'm going to save changes. Then I'm going to go to next, so my lot is now created. And this is where we add a variable. So I'm going to add variable. The variable type I'm going to add is manual, and I'm going to name this as reputation. So this is reputation of the supplier based on past experience. So there you go, there's my manual variable created. So I'm going to go to next, and then I need to add a weighting to this event. So I'm going to base the ranking 80% on price and 20% on reputation. So it's perfectly feasible that one supplier can bid a lower price than another supplier, but if the second supplier has a better reputation according to the client's view, then they can win the auction in terms of ranking. So it's very important how the client sees these manual variables and measured variables within the events and how they weight them in the event, because it will dictate how suppliers are ranked in the auctions. So once I've done that, once I'm happy with whatever my weighting is that I choose here, and it's worth saying I could make this 50%, 50% if I wanted to, I can save and continue. I'm not going to add another document into this event, I'm going to leave it as it is, as just the terms and conditions. And then I'm going to add a group of suppliers, so I'm going to add my carpet suppliers. So these are all the suppliers that can supply this 100 meters squared of carpet, and so I'm going to add them all in, go to next, and then when I press schedule event, it's going to send an email out to all these suppliers and ask them to compete in this event. What will happen is that we will get an email over to the supplier. They will RSVP after seeing the event details to see if they want to compete in this event, and if they do, they'll go through to an auction on this start date and the time, and the auction will last 30 minutes where they will bid against each other and they will see where they rank against each other in the auction, and the lowest rank will win the auction. So I'm just going to press schedule event, and their email will fire out to those 3 suppliers to invite them to the event. If there's any questions on this particular video, please email Dan at procurementpower.com.